Also, our bureaucracy, which is responsible for the transit trade and everything, to look over that, they also have certain issues. Things are not being done as professionally as they should have been done. So there are more hurdles being created than problems being solved. So if we work like that, then there's a problem. Why do you think Taliban eventually shifted their cargo from Karachi port to Chabahar, out of all places? Even last month I was discussing with my friend and my partners in Afghanistan, and they said I said, your cargo, if you move through Chabahar, must be at least 30% more expensive to move. He said even more. So they are willing to pay 30% more transportation costs, 40% or 50% higher transportation costs moving through Chabahar rather than moving through Karachi. Why? Because we have created a lot of problems for them here in terms of bank guarantees or this guarantees or advance withholding of duties, or otherwise creating a lot of bureaucratic tapeism and everything, right? Because
to our government's defense, you see, we've seen absolute abuse of Afghan transit trade. Then, of course, FATF regulations. We have to comply with them. So, and there is absence of virtually no bank in Afghanistan, which is safe. Of course, there was Kabul Bank that was destroyed. So, how do you actually guarantee paperwork with that? Right? My understanding, by the way, is that the Pakistanis abused this more than the Indians.
The entire region, not only Pakistan, not only Afghanistan, but even the main hub of this thing is works through Dubai. You have the Hawala system. So Afghanistan has never had any problem doing the trades. Neither does Iran. There are alternate backups available.
But both are sanctioned countries, of course. Iran and
so is Afghanistan, a sanctioned country. Today, if you remove the sanctions, how long will it take Afghanistan to develop their banking? They already have domestic banks there, all right? It's not that they don't have it, right? It's just that they are not connected to the outside world because the Americans just cut off the SWIFT system, right? So that's why they don't. And even if they do, there are many Afghans who work on the traditional trade methodology, which has not been fully replaced because of sometimes tax reasons, sometimes just evade everything, whatever. But they do use.
But I'll tell you a very interesting story. So apparently, when the Afghan transit system was on, Afghanistan somehow on paper became one of the biggest importers in the region for black tea, which they don't consume. We found out that, of course, all these chaiwalas in Pakistan had been abusing this one transit trade. Of course, bringing bondage trucks and, of course, unloading it here, and the trucks used to go empty there. Millions of duties lost. Of course, I'm sure there were people involved locally. I think FBI accepted that thing. That kind of abuse. So this is, I think, resentment in Pakistan.
I had this discussion with the former director of transit trade, Pakistan Customs.
Okay.
Right? And I asked him simple question: how many agencies work at the border? But how many agencies work at the border? You were saying Afghan transit, then they bring in the black tea and they don't pay the duty, and then they bring it back, pump it back into the Pakistani market. Okay, so how many agencies work on the border?